All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome. So we are
12 days.
12 days away from no big deal, nothing that important, nothing that you guys are that excited about or might have some questions about. How many of you just drop one in the chat box if you are counting down the days literally for the collagen elixir to officially land in Europe and the UK? Just a one in the chat box, right? Like it's such an incredibly exciting product, obviously.
And yeah, and I don't know if you're following, but there was some kind of income qualification where certain people inside of the market got access to the product inside of Europe to be able to try it out and share their story. So if you're not following some of those guys, just post in the group if you want to hear what some of your fellow Europeans have been experiencing on the product. And a bunch of them are on the call right now. They can always pop into that thread. But let me tell you that the results we're seeing here are the same exact results that you guys are seeing there. And so the level of success that we've had as a market, because you guys have had an opportunity to watch North America build and market, that you've been studying the product, you've been waiting for it. There's so many more tools that are available to you guys now. The leadership in this team has really stepped up and has been training on a broad scale. This has been a very well synchronized launch from an education standpoint, an asset standpoint. And I think that per capita, it's actually going to be bigger of a launch and bigger of a sustained product even than North America. That's my personal prediction. I think you guys are absolutely going to freaking crush this thing. And speaking of the launch and how excited everybody is, and we're going to talk with you at some point about kind of maybe the few days or the week leading into the launch. But we also just want to talk about the realities that anytime we launch a new product.
Well, hold on real quick. Anytime anybody launches anything
by any company,
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Network marketing, otherwise, whenever there are product launches.
Whenever there's a launch and technology is involved, there generally are some kind of blips, unexpected things that happen. The website could crash. Like, hopefully we don't see any of these things, but the reality is we're probably going to see something, because it's just pretty much guaranteed when you have technology and you have a ton of people, a ton of traffic going to one place at a time. So in the event that there are any kinds of like technology slowdowns, or the cart doesn't load when it's supposed to, or whatever it is, just please trust and just stay cool and know that it'll get remedied, and always be on the side of edifying the company. And don't worry, it'll be worth the wait. And there's so many people to the website, there's so much excitement about this. Just edify, and your customers are going to be fine. If there are any type of hopefully there's no shipping delays or anything like that, but
there's
things
a good
can
chance
happen.
There will be.
Things like that can happen.
Yeah.
So just be prepared mentally for that, and know that no matter what, this launch is still going to be wildly successful for each and every one of you who's really working towards it and is having conversations and has been plugging into training and so on and so forth.
And here's really the mindset I want you to adopt. And let me ask you a question. Drop a 2 in the chat box if you would like to earn a professional level income with Isagenix. I mean, professional level, right? More than the 300 to 500 extra. And again, there's nothing wrong with the 3 to 5 extra. We're so proud of those people that make it. But if you see yourself kind of moving from the 3 to 500 to 1,000 to 3,000, 5,000 and beyond, right? Just drop that to the chat box. Okay, cool. So in order to earn a professional income, you have to adopt a professional attitude at all times. And a professional attitude means that I am the CEO of my business. That means I'm going to take responsibility for every aspect of the business that I can take responsibility for. Now, am I responsible if there are IT challenges or anything along those lines based on my partnership with Isagenix? Of course not. Am I responsible if there are some shipping delays? No, I'm not. What am I responsible for, though? I'm responsible for how I communicate my company's position to my customers, to my team, and to my prospects. Meaning that I'm going to be a professional at all times. I'm going to take ownership of making sure that I do my best to soothe my customers, to help my team remember that everything's going to be okay, that in the long run, Isagenix takes care of everything. Because you know what the big mistake that amateurs make is customers and other team members start complaining. You know what amateurs do? They complain right alongside them. yeah, you're right, this is horrible, it shouldn't be this way, this, that, and the other. When in actuality, that's pretty far from the truth, because like Eden said, and like I suggested at the beginning, in any kind of big launch, there are always going to be hiccups. So drop a 3 in the chat box if you're committed to operating like a professional, no matter how the launch goes, no matter what kind of complaints you see or get or whatever may be, you're going to take responsibility for acting like a CEO would act regardless of what transpires. Now, here's the other side of acting like a professional. When this happens, oftentimes, let's say you have 2 or 3 customers or 2 or 3 prospects that their links don't go through or something along those lines happens. Well, what amateurs do is they allow those 2 or 3 to represent the majority, when in actuality, that's not true, right? So if 97 or 99% of the people have no issues with links, products are coming on time, whatever it may be, what amateurs will do is they'll hook onto those 2 to 3 things, and then they'll get super negative about the whole thing, okay? Whereas pros will say, great, 97 and 99% of the people are having no issues whatsoever. That doesn't take away from the issues that are being had and doesn't mean that we don't need to handle those things, right? But again, it's the professionalism and it's the way in which you choose to approach any kind of hiccups and challenges that we might face. And so with that being said, we thought we're 10 days, 11 days out from the launch. I just got through doing those three days of pretty intense training. All of those recordings are available for you guys to go back and watch. And we felt like, why not? Let's open it up for questions and answers. We know that there's a ton of questions that are still out there right now. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have. We'll open it up. Michelle, looks like you have a question, so we can start with you.
Michelle, we'll just unmute you.
No, she already asked. How do you explain? It's right there.
Oh, can I ask a question regarding the link? How do you explain lifestyle rewards / auto ships when sending the link? Great question. I mean, very simple. So it doesn't really come up until I send the link. Okay. So I send the link, or what I do actually is I send a voice memo and then I send the link. So I send a voice memo and I say, all right, I'm about to pop in your customized link for you to be able to check out directly. What you will also see is you will see something called lifestyle rewards. This is our auto ship program. So this is a program that allows you to start with the very lowest price. For the very lowest price, it's controlled by you. You can change it at any time. But if you're like, 99% of my other customers, you're going to want to stay on this product and you're going to make sure that you don't run out. And having an auto ship is going to allow you to do that. It's going to allow you to ensure that. But I'm letting them know that it's changeable by them. The reason why I'm setting them up with it is because, first of all, it's for the convenience so that they don't run out, but also because it's going to give them the very lowest wholesale price on the collagen elixir on their initial order. But they know that they're in control of it.
And that's the big key, by the way, is what Eden just shared, is them knowing that they're in control of the process. Because people aren't opposed to auto ship. We're not. We're all on auto ship.
Yeah, subscribe and save.
Yeah, I mean, one time we were cleaning up our budget. We were looking at some things and we're like, let's just look at some unnecessary expenses. Like all Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, ESPN.com, right? All these things that we subscribe to without even thinking about it. So we know that we don't have a problem as humans with subscribing for things and getting things on autopilot. It's when we don't feel a sense of control, right? So for example, like 1-year gym memberships where they're going to auto bill you, but there's no way of canceling because you're committed to a year for a contract. That's the type of auto ship that people are scared of. That's what makes them feel uncomfortable. But again, like Eden said, if you very clearly explain that they're in control and it's just to get you the best pricing this month and every month after that, should you choose, we've never gotten pushback on that.
Yep. Also, while we're waiting for, and Michelle, no, we don't have that in a template, but if somebody wants to watch this recording and type it up, I guess we could put it in the template. We could add it to the template. All right. If anybody ends up typing it up for your own use, great. If not, we'll get to it when we have an opportunity to. Yeah. And then while we're waiting for more questions, we were also asked about creating a QR code and how to do it. This isn't going to apply to everybody. It really applies to people, like to businesses where they're having their customers, where they're having customer interface and checking out, like salons, spas, estheticians, things like that. So we'll make a little video and we'll put that in the group as to how to create the cart link and then turn that into a QR code. Michelle has another question. She said, people using this will be different with ages and different goals. So when somebody is happy with their results, what is the recommended maintenance? And if they choose to stop, do we have any info on the sustainability of the results achieved once stopped? Okay, great question. So once somebody achieves their goal, what next? What do they do? All right, ladies, I'm just going to talk to the ladies for a second.
Sexist.
When we feel like we're looking prettier and younger, will we reach a point where we feel like we've looked as pretty and as young as we possibly can? Or are we going to try to push our luck and see how far we can keep it going? Press 2 or put 2 in the chat box if you think we're going to push the envelope a little bit. We want to see, well, if I look this great already, how much greater am I going to look? Okay, so you all agree with me. Guys, I don't know if you're the same, but I'm telling you, the ladies, this is how we think. So most people, I suspect, because we only have 6 months of data, I suspect that the longer people are on this product, the longer they're going to want to stay on the product, because the more they're going to be seeing subtle changes and benefits. Kathy Coover, well, she's almost 70 years old. She now has been on the product for 1 year, and she told me that about every month she starts to notice something new. I've been using this product about 7 months. I also notice things, subtle things here and there. And one day I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, my lips are a lot more full. But there are still things about, there's still things about my skin or on my body that I feel like I just need a little more time on the collagen. So it's something that it's results that compound. So I don't think that we're going to see a typical, the typical person from, their weight loss goals saying like, all right, I've hit my weight on the scale. Now what do I do for maintenance? I think that this product plays a little bit differently. Also, people's bodies start to crave it. We feel really good when we're using the product. So it's not only like the vanity results, but it's the ongoing benefit of the anti-inflammatory benefits of the herbs, of the biotin for the hair, of course, for the hydration for the skin. So I think that people will sooner taper off on smaller doses than they will get rid of it completely. So most people long-term might just do 1 a day. Some people on a really tight budget maybe will go down to half a dose a day. Maybe, I don't know. It hasn't been long enough to see the behavior. But what we know is that after 4 months of people who start on the 6-pack, 60% of them are still ordering. So that suggests that people are sticking with it longer than with any other product in the past. And I think that retention rate might hold up pretty well and for a while. If people go off of it, cool. I don't know how long it's going to be until they see that maybe their skin is a little bit drier and whatever. I have no idea, because it hasn't been enough time. And quite honestly, all of my people have stayed on the product.
So there's that approach for sure, which you can do, but also in the very front end of it, when you're overcoming that objection, what I would say is, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. First and foremost, let's see if you even like the product. Let's see if you like the taste of the product. Let's see if you like how you feel on the product. Because let me ask you a question. Wouldn't you rather find out that there's a product that can get you results that you've never gotten in your life before, and then we have to figure out how to maintain those results, versus never having an experience ever again and just remaining the same? So let's just not get ahead of ourselves. Does that sound fair? Okay, so just so don't worry about that long-term thing. And I always say that, let's just not get ahead of ourselves, right? We don't know if you're going to like the product. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to notice from the inside out that you're going to want to stay on this forever. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, my response to Michelle wasn't what to say to the customer. My response to Michelle is just showing what we're seeing. And then yes. Okay, so Adele says, any idea if it's called lifestyle rewards or just auto ship? It might just be called auto ship.
I believe it's lifestyle rewards everywhere, isn't it?
It would be whatever's in your back office. It is auto ship. Okay. I think auto ship is easier to understand anyway, to be honest. Okay. So what time of day do you advise people to take their collagen? It really does not matter. I think Dr. Plant said that there's a very, very, very slight benefit to doing it on more of an empty stomach, like away from food. I don't know that it matters all that much. Just get it in. So some people like taking it as, like a late night treat because it's sweet and delicious. I like taking it first thing in the morning because I just like the ritual of it. Okay. Whoop.
There you go.
I don't want to stop. Okay. Is the lookbook available to be downloaded? I think so. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What are some other questions?
And again, even though I handled some of the objections and whatnot on the training, and again, I'm going to refer you back to that training if you want. If there are objections that you're not clear on how to handle, like the one Michelle asked, feel free to ask those. Again, this is the time. We're getting closer and closer to the launch, right? So now's the time to ask them these questions.
All right. Are the results you have seen as good with people? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Is her pages where she was skeptical. Is the best.
In the beginning, for me, my biggest question, I said to Zach, I was like, all right, well, it's cool that all these Isogenics people who have been taking our products for years are getting good results, but what's going to happen when, Susie, the customer, who, eats fast food for a living, like what's going to happen when she gets started on the collagen? And I will tell you that across the boards, the results have been very, very positive, regardless of the lifestyle coming in. And they've been positive even without people making any type of a lifestyle change whatsoever.
And I think actually that what you'll see is, I think you're going to see strikingly remarkable transformations from people who aren't healthy in general because of, and again, we can't make this, we've got to figure out how to say compliantly, but there are anti-inflammatory properties inside of this particular product.
Powerful ones.
So when you take somebody who smokes cigarettes all day, eats terribly unhealthy food, drinks alcohol all the time, and their body is incredibly inflamed, the minute you give it a product like this, the body goes, thank you. And so you see hydration coming back to the face. So I actually think you'll see, and we have seen more extreme transformation from people that don't adhere to a healthier lifestyle than those that do, because there's so much room to notice the difference with a product like this.
Yeah, there have been people.
There are some people who look like they came back from the dead. They literally, it's like reverse zombie. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
There are none that I missed.
Okay.
Oops.
Got it.
Sorry. Oh, down here. All right. What are some other questions that you guys have?
We got a few minutes left on the call.
Yeah, we've got a bit more time. I mean, next time we meet will be next Sunday. It'll be 4 days before the launch. So next week, I think we'll talk about how to start collecting orders. But in the meantime, for everybody who expresses an interest, make sure that you're keeping a very, very detailed list, a list of people who ask, a list of people who are liking, a list of people who are commenting, a list of people who review the information. Be as consistent with that as possible, because while not everybody is going to get started before the product launches, some people are going to want to watch for a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months to see the results that you're going to be sharing, to see that they're consistent and that they're real, but that they'll come back. So important to just track as much data as you can, so you know who to follow up with and so on.
Also important to not be discouraged when people say no at first. Because remember, a no usually just means no, not now, or I don't know enough information to get started. So don't get frustrated if somebody says, no, it's too expensive right now, or no, I want to think about it, or whatever it is. Because remember, in any sales scenario, it's going to take anywhere from 3 to 17 exposures before somebody says yes. And the best way to not have to worry about those no's is to have so much activity, so much movement, so many conversations going that you don't notice the no's. You just don't notice the no's.
All right. Judy asked, people ask if there's a lot of carbs in it. So I think there's either 5 or 7 carbs. I think it's 5 grams of carbs. And it's because of the apple juice that the collagen is mixed with. So it's pure apple juice concentrate. And it's essentially less than half of an apple worth of carbs. And there's no added sugar to it. So it shouldn't be an issue. Now, for people who maintain a very, very, very low carb diet, like a keto type of a person, they're probably only going to do 1 a day. But for people that, are willing to eat an apple in a day, then they can do 2 a day and it's still less carbs. Michelle asked, you do a 5-day text just like the nutrition and ask people to share if they said no at the initial order.
We haven't really been doing that as aggressively yet, because what we also want to do is allow some time to set in for people to realize how dramatic the transformation is with this product. Okay. But we're certainly checking in on people.
Yeah, we're for sure checking in. We're asking them how they're enjoying the product, enjoying the taste, and so on. You can be as hands-on and give as much customer service as you would like. But what you might find is that you're having potentially a lot more customers getting started at one time than you had before. So you don't have to worry about like the constancy of following up and, you know, making sure that they're not like nauseous or headaches and detox. This is a totally different game. Is, hey, how are you enjoying the taste of the collagen? You might even, with somebody who you have the rapport with, you might even say like, have you considered blogging your journey on social media? There's so many people that are finding out about this through social media. Would it interest you? Would it excite you to earn a couple €100 back, or to earn enough to cover the cost of next month's supply, something like that? What you'll also find, Michelle, and that was such a great question, is that so many people who in the past, like the customers with the nutrition, the people that say no, they didn't want to share, it sometimes took them a while to get them over the line. With these people, with these customers, whether or not they're saying, yes, I'm interested in earning an income, it's something that becomes so natural for them to want to share, because they enjoy it so much, that people who would have never, ever, ever shared otherwise are on their own sharing this product.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's really special about this type of product is, and many of you maybe possibly experienced this in your own transformation, where it's, well, I'm not a personal trainer, or I haven't had a massive weight loss story yet, or I'm still in the middle of my journey, so I don't feel comfortable sharing, or whatever it may be. This product completely eliminates all of those objections, all of them. So we're seeing that quite a bit, like Eden said. Gio, in terms of how do you answer that question? We did cover that at length earlier in the call. It was one of the first questions. So if you want to come back and watch the recording, brother, you'll see that Eden did a fantastic job of covering that answer.
All right. Michael asked if it's for cleanse days. Yes, I believe you can do it on cleanse days. It either has 2 or 3 points.
2 sins worth, is that what you call it instead of points? That's a sin. That's fine.
All
right.
Okay. With people with an apple allergy would be no. They wouldn't want to take this with an apple allergy.
2 sins. That's fine.
What are some other
any final questions? Any final thoughts? No bad questions, ladies and gentlemen. No bad questions. No bad questions.
Michelle, what else you got? I know you've got a few.
Cool. Good.
Great.
Good. And then I think you guys have you have a big call with Dr. Plant tomorrow. What time is that? Just so you can have it in the chat box. 6:30. Great. Okay.
6:30 UK time.
Now, here's something to remember. When you hear Dr. Plant talking about the product and about the science behind the product, don't feel like you need to know all that information, because you don't. What you need to know is just enough. You need to know some of the highlights, some of the benefits, but you don't need to know everything that he talks about, because if you do come across somebody that has deep scientific questions, just use that recording as a tool. Say, hey, that's a great question. I have a video, answers all those questions. I don't know any
of the scientific information about this.
But don't feel like you need to be an expert in collagen, because you don't.
You don't, and most people have 2 or 3 basic questions that you'll ever have asked, ever.
Yep. And here's the other thing I would suggest that we saw early on, and Eden did this really, really well. You guys know us. We don't really advise, obviously, being spammy in any way, shape, or form in terms of your marketing. But I wouldn't be scared the closer we get to launch, and once this launches, just to be a little bit heavier handed in the number of before and after photos that you share on your personal timelines and in your stories.
For sure.
People, look, the pictures of the bottles are beautiful. They're great. But at the end of the day, people are looking at these before and afters and going, how does it work? What is that? Right? Because they want the results. So
cool, guys. Well, here we go. Here we go.
So we will, if there are no further questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. The 2-minute video is one of the best tools that's ever been made in the history of the company.
Agreed. I use it every single time.
Hands down.
So I use, for those of you who are using the templates, and you see how, when they ask certain information, we're sending photos and PDFs. So I don't even need to send any photos anymore because the issue magazine, the digital magazine, has all the photos, and I just use that link and people can click through it. So I highly recommend using the digital magazine, which is the lookbook. Yep. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. See ya.
All right, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
evening. Bye.